Hey everyone, it's Kathis. Today we're doing another 101 style guide. I am pretty excited about this one. We've got armor and mods, which yes, very complex topic, I get it, but we're gonna break it down like always, simplify it to where hopefully you can walk away from this video knowing exactly what is going on, how to categorize everything, so when you see these awesome builds, you actually know what's happening and hopefully you'll be able to make your own builds. That's the goal of this. So this is my style of content. I like breaking it down to the simplest possible form to where you can walk away feeling confident in playing Destiny. So with that being said, let's get right into it. Let's start with some basics. We've got 5 armor slots: helmet, arms, chest, legs, and class item. Just like weapons, armor pieces will have a randomly rolled affinity, so think arc, solar, void, or stasis. But unlike weapons, the affinity is not fixed, meaning that you can change the affinity whenever you want for just a small cost. And don't worry, we will get to why affinity is important in just a minute. We can get armor from pretty much anywhere, although certain activities reward far better armor than others. Legendary world drops are a guaranteed dismantle, unless your power level is below the powerful gear threshold. The stats will max out around 52 total, which is super low. Pinnacle activities such as raids, trials, and dungeons reward higher total stat gear, with 60 plus totals being regular. Armor contains 6 stats: mobility, resilience, recovery, discipline, intellect, and strength. Just a super quick run through of all the stats for anybody that doesn't know. Mobility not only gives faster walking and strafe speed and higher jumping, but also is the hunter specific stat that speeds up the dodge regeneration. Resilience gives better damage reduction while also being the Titan stat that helps with their class ability regeneration. And lastly, recovery is the warlock specific stat that also gives quicker health regeneration. Discipline lowers grenade cooldown, intellect lowers super cooldown, and strength lowers our melee cooldown. Each of the stats shown on your armor will contribute to your total stats found on the character screen. The highest a single stat can roll on a single piece of armor is 30, and the highest total base stat for a legendary armor piece is 68, while exotics is 71. It's probably also worth mentioning that the 6 stats are split into 2 groups. Group 1 is mobility, resilience, and recovery, and Group 2 is discipline, intellect, and strength. On legendary armor, these groups of stats cannot roll higher than 34, meaning that you couldn't have 20 resilience, 20 recovery, and 28 mobility with 0 in all the other stats, for example. If you aren't sure which stats are good, it's very safe to just try to shoot for 100 resilience. As the game stands right now, 40% damage reduction is just too good to pass up. Alright, with some of the basics out of the way, let's inspect some armor to see what we can do with it. You can see at the top here, it shows that this piece of armor is solar, with 10 energy. The energy will tell us how much space we have to work with our mods. And all mods, by the way, will have a number on the top right corner. This is its energy cost. So as an example here, I can't equip this 4 energy mod because I'm already using 7 energy. All armor maxes out at 10 energy no matter what type or affinity it is. Once an armor piece is taken to 10, or Masterworked, it will get a +2 stat bonus to every stat, and will get a golden border around the icon. With the stat boosts you get, Masterworking armor is very helpful in getting you to double or even triple 100 stats. But before you go maxing out your armor, just know that it is very costly. You'll need to get some endgame materials like enhancement prisms and ascendant shards to do it. I'd highly recommend using an app like Destiny Item Manager to help you find your best armor combinations for the best stats. Shameless plug, I do have a dim guide for that if you want to go check that out. Now that we understand the basics of stats, masterworking, and armor energy, let's dive into the mod slots and what they do. So first off, where do we get mods? Unfortunately, in the game's current state, you need to check Ada every day for her rotating random stock of mods. This needs to change. There are way too many mods in the game now for only 4 to be available per day. It's ridiculous. We've gone almost a year before with certain mods not making it into the shop. That's just crazy. Let's hope this changes soon, but for now, make sure to check her stock every day. Every armor piece will have 4 slottable armor mod squares. Certain armor mods can have 5, but I'll cover that a little bit later. The first empty slot is your general armor slot. This looks exactly the same on any piece of armor, by the way. It contains all of the same mods. You can choose between +5 or +10 for any stat you like. Really simple. The second and third slots will hold your armor type specific mods. So as an example, these slots on your arms will contain different mods than the ones found on your chest, for example. You can double up on these mods if you want to for an increased effect as well. Like right here, I am doubling up on the thermoshock plating. And since we're here in the second and third slot, you'll notice some of these mods look a bit different. You've got blue mods, gray mods, affinity mods. What's going on? Yeah, I know this is where things get a little bit more complex, but stick with me, we've got this. To keep it simple, first off, the blue mods are the seasonal mods that will expire at the end of the season and are unlocked in your artifact. All the gray mods are your permanent mods. Once you find them once, you have unlimited use, which is pretty nice. So next up, we have the affinity specific mods. Remember at the beginning of the video, I said that I'd explain why affinity is important. Well, this is why. Mods in the second, third, and fourth slot can be locked to an affinity, not always. So if you can't find a mod, it's probably just because your armor is the wrong affinity, so you'll need to switch it to equip the right one. I'll also mention too that if a mod does not have an affinity, it just means that it's universal, so you can apply it to any affinity. Alright, moving on to the fourth slot, you have your combat style mods. Just like the general armor mod slot, combat style mods will always contain the exact same mods no matter what piece of armor you're trying to equip them on. So technically, you could equip 5 elemental ordinances if you wanted to. Not saying you should, but you can. The mods in this slot contain your main gameplay style mods and require a bit of extra thought to really take them to the next level. Let's break them down and see what they do. So the combat style mod slot has 3 different categories of mods. You have Charge with Light, Elemental Well, and Warmind Cell mods. Let's just start off with Charge with Light. Charge with Light mods need to have at least 2 mods to work. You'll first need one of the Charge with Light mods to actually become Charged with Light, and then another mod to utilize the Charge with Light buff. Any mod that has green in it will be your Become Charged with Light mods, while any mod with yellow in it will be your Do Blank with Charged with Light buff mod. Here's an example. I can equip the Empowered Finish on one piece, then High Energy Fire on another. Empowered Finish will get me Charged with Light by just finishing an enemy, and High Energy Fire will actually give me a bonus to my weapon damage. There are many different ways that we can use Charge with Light. This is just one example, but at least now you know how it works. Elemental Well mods are the second type of combat style mod. They are kind of similar to Charge with Light in that you can equip a mod to generate elemental wells and then equip another mod to give some sort of bonus effect. Elemental wells by default are awesome. They replenish abilities by 10%. So if the well doesn't match your subclass type, it's okay, it'll just replenish 10% of your least charged ability. But if it does match, it will replenish all of your abilities by 10%. There are many mods that generate elemental wells. I personally like using Elemental Ordnance because of how often I use grenades, but you can mix and match too. I often run Elemental Ordnance and Melee Wellmaker, and as mentioned a second ago, you can also run a utilization mod for wells if you want to as well. Well of Life is an example of a solar mod that will instantly start health regeneration when you pick up a solar well. Pretty cool. Last and least, we have Warmind Cell mods. Do what you want, but I would not make a build with these as they have barely been usable for a long time. I have never seen anyone running with these in probably the last year and a half, but the basic premise of these mods is that you will use a weapon capable of generating Warmind cells to obviously generate a Warmind cell. You can then shoot the Warmind cell to do a small solar AoE blast, or use some of the mods to create some secondary effect with them. Trust me, as of right now, they are not worth it, but hopefully this changes in the future. With all of the information about mods out of the way, let's try to put it into practice with a basic build. Thanks to Plunder the Booty for this one, by the way. He is the mastermind with builds. This is my Arc Titan, and the loop of the build basically is I'll use Elemental Ordnance to create a well from a grenade kill, run over the well to become Charged with Light by using Elemental Charge. Notice I just got 2 Charged with Light because I picked up an Arc Well, because I'm an Arc subclass. Then I triple stack the Firepower mod to use my Charged with Light, giving me about 50% of my grenade back instantly. For this build, I am running 100 Discipline on my armor because this is a grenade build, and 100 Resilience because the 40% damage reduction is just awesome. And keep in mind, this is just the armor side of my build. It's not even factoring in what my Arc subclass setup can do on top of all this. If you need a basic walkthrough of Arc, by the way, you can check out my video here. Alright, switching gears a little bit, let's touch briefly on Transmog. This screen right here will help us get our Guardian looking exactly how we want. Selecting any one of the pieces of armor will show us anything in that slot that we've found before. You can unlock a piece of armor by using a synth weave for your class type. Keep in mind too, any armor that you unlock will be unlocked forever, which is really nice. You can get a maximum of 10 per character per season, and you'll get these by completing bounties from Ada. These bounties can be a grind, but just make sure you always have these since they never expire. At the end of the day with Transmog, you can basically change the appearance of your armor as much as you want. Alright, a few finishing thoughts here that I thought would make sense to go at the end of the video. I briefly mentioned that certain armor pieces come with 5 mod slots. This is reserved for raid armor and artifice armor. Raid armor's last slot gives it a unique raid-specific mod that is beneficial to the raid that it's from. For example, I can equip the Run for Your Life mod on any piece of King's Fall armor, among other mods too. Same goes for the other raid sets too. Just look for the unique raid set mods that you can equip in this slot. Artifice armor can be earned from the master mode of the Grasp of Avarice dungeon, and it allows for a third armor type mod. So a third helmet or third glove type mod, for example. This is technically overall the best armor in the game, but it can be really challenging to farm for the exact stats that you need here. The last thing I'll mention is that the newer seasonal armor sets actually have armor perks, which I like to basically equate to origin traits for armor. These are mostly only beneficial to seasonal activities though, so I wouldn't go too far out of my way to hunt for the perfect sets for all of these armors. Well, that is another one in the books. I really hope this helped you out. I know armor can be kind of confusing, but once you get the hang of it, it's really not bad and actually a lot of fun. Getting that perfect build is so satisfying. It's honestly my favorite part of the game. So what do you all want to see next? Let me know in the comments down below. I will do my best to always acknowledge and respond to every comment, by the way. I've got a ton of ideas coming, so as usual, keep expecting more content. Make sure to subscribe down below so you can see more stuff like this, and feel free to leave a like if this helped you out. I will see you all in the next video.